Alright, so last week we wrapped up the first half of the season at Silverstone Reverse, and we had some great stunning fights, and even battles for positions that we didn't expect to have happen. Like Skither making his attack in cups to get a position, or Skither, Edvin, having a three-wide fight in left field. Always drops your jaw for Silverstone Reverse, which, honestly, not gonna lie, I think, in my opinion, is probably the best race of the year so far. Hopefully, we might see that again. But we kick off the second half of the season at one of the longest tracks on the calendar, and a track that has pretty much, I think, just about appeared in every single Tier 1 calendar for RPL, probably minus one or two, but we are in it. We are here for Spa Francorchamps here in Belgium. Diane Wolf on hand for comms tonight, and we are looking at 19 participants for tonight's festivities here at Spa. So it will be a full qualifying all the way around, fun times, great action. We're gonna have some fun. So last week we at Silverstone Reverse, that race was won by Cookie, and in a good comfortable lead. He won by over 7 seconds to his teammate Willow, who finished in second, and HSR Gecko was in third, 17 seconds behind. In the Drivers' Championship, Cookie continues to extend that lead over Skither, who has 205 points to Skither's 114, and Willow has jumped up to third place in the championship at 91 points, just ahead of Gecko, who has 89, and Alex Norris falls to fifth, who has 84. In the Constructors' Championship, McLaren on pure form heading into as they are eyeballing their shot at a Constructors' Championship. They have 327 points ahead of Ferrari with 224, and Mercedes is sitting in third with 213. The only teams that changed positions was the 6th place position, where Haas, with 6 points on there, jump up to 6 ahead of Alpine. Haas with 22, Alpine with 19. So this is going to be a good set of racing here for tonight. We cannot wait. So we cannot wait for some great action here. Like I said, everyone is going to be piling into their cars to get this show on the road in due time. So we're just missing a couple of people in regards to their spots. Jack, the host, he's here, but he just has to. He's just currently in the bathroom doing whatever needs to be done. We're missing the Haas, the second Haas, that being held by AJ. AJ just needed to get an invite into the lobby. I don't have him added, but I will make sure to add him when he gets in. Now, we would have had a full grid of 20, because Maxwell was initially supposed to be in VCARB, but he's been moved to the Aston because Noam could not make the event, and therefore he has to swap. He had to swap over because of that. And then the Kicksauber, we're just missing the second Kicksauber, that being SV. Hopefully he will be here. So, and I did. Now we did mention that with Noam. He was initially going to be in Aston, and Maxwell was in Red Bull VCARB. But I did say to Josh, I said, hey, if Noam can't make it, you have my permission already to make that swap over. And Noam could not make it, so that's why the switch had occurred. But I think because of it, I think Maxwell will avoid a quali ban because he was scheduled for the VCARB and but got moved to Aston because no one couldn't make it. But I did tell Josh, like, almost 2 hours before the lobby opened that he has my permission to do the switch anyways, if that happens. There's AJ. Let me add him, just to make sure, so I don't lose him. Speaking of which, let me just make sure I have people on here. Because I think I was like, maybe I might have missed somebody. Or, no, I got everyone. Oh, not Jacksta. Okay, where in the world is, where's SV? Alright. Okay, so, where in the world is SV? There you are. Get in here. Alright. So far, earlier, so far this week, the other day, we had, Tier 3, which was in Melbourne, and then Tier 2 had their race also in Australia for their Tier 2 event. So let me check Beatnik's stream. He probably has those results there. Let's see, here we go. So Tier 2 yesterday in Australia, via the unofficial results right now. Lennon was the winner in the Ferrari. He is here for Haas tonight. So congrats to Lennon for a good victory. Lero Fusion was in second, and Mintoki was in third for that event. Let's see, here we go, Tier 3 Australia. And let's see. Of course, I'm not trying to get the thing here. Here we go. Okay, so for Tier 3, Resilience was the winner in Ferrari. So Ferrari won Tier 2 and Tier 3 earlier in the week. Here's the question: can Ferrari go an entire weekend and win Tier 1? Whether it be Skither or Edvin getting it done. Time can tell. We don't know. But yeah, Resilience was the winner in that one. Rhythms wound up getting second place, and Scarenzi was in third. But we do have one piece of breaking news in regards to Tier 3. So, that piece of breaking news was the fourth place finisher, which was Egg. Yes, the same Egg. Raced in Tier 2, had some stints in Tier 1, former member of the team principal hierarchy in Red Bull Academy. He raced in Alpine without getting the proper permission from those in charge, because he's too fast to be in Tier 3, just to be short and blunt about it. So after the admins and everything had a discussion in regards to it, and they determined, because of Egg taking the piss and not taking the league seriously enough in all that context, Egg joins Leon. Well, not like in that sense, because Leon is banned from F125. He's just banned for the entire game cycle. But Egg is gotten what we would call the Leon treatment. Egg was permanently banned from racing altogether in RPL. He is done until they say otherwise. But Egg is flat out done. So, that is unfortunate in that sense. Okay, where is SV? Let me... There we go, finally. Let me check with Jack in regards to Maxwell. Okay, and we're looking at clear skies here for Q1. Let's find out from the boys on if okay. Okay, so I just had to double check because I thought with asking ahead of time he'd be fine with it, but I guess not. So Jack, per Jack. Oh. Okay, never mind. I didn't see that Maxwell switched back to V-Carb at the last minute. I thought he was still Aston. So I thought with that, Jack still thought with Maxwell being in the V-Carb, I thought he would be okay knocking a quali ban. I was going to say, oh, Maxwell, since you're in the Aston, you now have a quali ban. But he goes, no, I'm in the V-Carb. I'm in the V-Carb, so never mind. So we're all good. Sorry about that. I just wasn't paying attention in that sense. But anyways, speaking of the cars, let's see who is out and about on their first lap. It is Reese. Let me see if I can pop into their little voice chat and find out who. Well, let's see. Maybe we could try again to get a report from these guys in regards to the weather. See what we can get out of it. Let me try again on this one for a moment. Let's see what we can get. So, well, but before we go into that little chat to find out what in the world's going on with that, let's go through a lap with Reese as he heads to begin his first lap. Let's ride on board with him. Getting up into the 7th gear, getting the high RPMs as he heads into the first heavy braking zone at La Source. Turn 1. Now, back up to the gears. Flying up through there. 6, 7, 8. Now, heading up to the fun turn. That is Eau Rouge and Radion. Keeping it nice and simple, right around 190 miles an hour. To the DRS zone, down the Kemmel Straight. And flying through. Getting the max effort he can get out of it. About 210 into the braking zone. At the Lescombe chicane now. Oh, riding at the curbs. Back up to the gears. Easy on the exiting of Lescombes. Now heading into Bruxelles. Bit of a slide. And a drift through Bruxelles. Now into No Name. And out of No Name he comes. Up through the gears to 7th gear. And stays in 7th as he heads to Puhan. Still flat out through Puhan. And switches up to 8th gear. Now heading into the Campos chicane now. And now working through to get into Sector 2. Heading towards Stavelot now. Now into Cova Paul Frere. And heading towards Blanchimont. 200 miles an hour, overtaking Gaged. And basically ripping through it. Deploy already gone in Blanchimont. Now heading to the bus stop chicane to wrap up the lap. Riding up under the curbs in on the last couple of corners to come across the line. Benchmark for Reese, and it is a 42-1. Now let's see who is next to get a lap done. Let's see. Well, we got some cars currently going through a lap right now. Here we go. Andrea up next. A 42-1 for Andrea. Into the bus stop chicane. Let's see what Andrea's got. Pretty much the sleeper of the group. Coming across the line. And it's a 42-2. Slightly slower than Reese. Fusion 42-7 for him in the V-Carb. Landed with a 43-1. More cars coming into the fray here. Let's switch to AJ. He's about to wrap up his time lap. 43-3 for SV, 43-8 for Jack. Might have been a scuff lap there for Jack, perhaps. A 43-3 for AJ. We have another Williams in the background. That was F1 Union starting his time lap. Yes, it was. Let's see who's next to get a lap finished. Well, we got Jaxa about to start his time lap. Cryptic is on an out lap. Same with Gecko. There's Willow. Currently going through campus right now. We have Mintoki at Paul Frere right now. Now let's see what Willow's got. Second place last week at Silverstone Reverse. Would love to get some laps in on that one. Beatnik, by the way, up to second place with a 42-1 on his part. Kind of crazy to see Reese, a Williams, at the top of the board right now. Just for the time being, that is very solid stuff if you think about it. But here comes Willow across the line, and he goes into the 41s. A 41-5 for the McLaren. Let's see who is next. Let's go to Edvin. Edvin had a solid standing out performance in Silverstone Reverse last week. Second outing here in Tier 1 and is in the big man car of Ferrari. Here he comes across the line and he goes second fastest. Only 6/100ths behind Edvin at this 6/100ths behind Willow goes Edvin at this time. Let's see, there's Jackson Campus. We got some more cars about to come across the line, I believe. Cryptic's just starting his lap. I think a couple of people. Okay, Cookie's just starting his. Let's go to Jaxa. Jaxa is heading into Blanchimont right now. Trying to get some laps all set in stone. And let's see what he's got. Right behind is the Mercedes Gecko. Coming out of the final corners comes Jaxa and Gecko. Jaxa coming across the line. He's the slowest right now. 44.5 on his part. Gecko a 41.6 for his time there. And we have a McLaren slow that I believe is probably Cookie. Is it Cookie or is that oh, that is Willow moving out of the way. Alright, moving on. Let's see what's going to Mintoki. More times coming in. That was the Alpine of Mintoki, by the way. Mintoki, 42-2 for her time in the Alpine. Well, Mintoki originally was not feeling comfortable about wanting to be in the Alpine and actually wanted to be Aston Martin, but she found a setup that wound up working in her favor, so she decided to hang on and stay with it. A Mercedes Tier 2 driver, currently 6th right now, just ahead of Andrea currently for Q1, and Cryptic up into P5 with a 42-1 for his troubles. So we got 2 drivers currently about to get some laps in. We have Cookie just coming out of the final corner to get his time lap onto the board, and it is a 41-8. That slots him into 4th fastest right now, and he's almost 3/10 off of his teammate Willow at this present moment. So we have Skither, Maxwell, Union, and Revfire yet to get a lap in. So while we go to Maxwell right now, who's just coming out of No Name, let's see if we can get a weather report from any of the guys. That's Maxwell, goes wide out of Puhan and invalidates the time. We'll get a weather report. Be right back. Alright, so we just got our report courtesy of Reese. So here's what we have. We have a dry Q1, dry Q2. Q3 is gonna be dry for the first few minutes, then it's going to change over to rain. And then the race itself, it's going to start wet, and then it will go to dry. So, we're looking at a mixed conditions for the race itself. But when we get to Q3, we know it's going to be a madhouse to try to get the best lap in before the rain shows up. That is the weather report that we have received from Reese at this present time. So, as said, just want to give our thanks to Reese for providing that weather report. Now, another elephant out of the room that I need to make a note of as drivers are getting some extra times in just to make sure they have it all set in stone. Except for when Union comes across the line, he's 12th fastest with a 43.2 in his retrospect. Skither is just starting his time lap. Redfire is just coming out of the final corner now. Now, Redfire, by the way, back in action here in Tier 1. He had to deal with a 4-race ban because of antics that had occurred in Imola. Redfire goes 11th fastest with a 43.0. So I wound up talking to Redfire, and I said to him, listen, your racing style needs improvements. You are good on pace, but you need to tone the aggression down and stop getting yourself into trouble. And he believed it was a good idea that I told him, I said, here's what we gotta do. Let's put you in Tier 2 for a season, so that way we can work on your weaknesses and you can better yourself as a driver going forward. He liked the idea. He's gonna go forward with it. So Redfire, is basically going to be reserving every now and again in Tier 1 if need be, but he will be in Tier 2 for the season to work on his racecraft, to become a better driver, and hopefully maybe he can drop the moniker of being the quote-unquote terrorist of Tier 1, so to speak. So, Skither just coming out of the final corner now to get his time lap up on the board. His teammate, a 41.5 for him, and he's about a 10th behind in P4 with a 41.6. Now, before he came in the top 5, have called it quits. Willow, Edvin, Gecko, Cookie, and Reese have all called it a day. Now, only one driver left to get a time in right now. It is Maxwell right now. He would love to get himself out of, well, what's essentially the bottom 5. Those that have not seen F1 qualifying before, basically we have 3 Q sessions, Q1, Q2, and Q3. In Q1, the slowest 5, which in this case is the slowest 4, 16th through 19th, eliminated out of Q1. Then we go into Q2, where the bottom 5 in that one, 11th to 15th, are knocked out. And then in Q3, the top 10 fight it out over who will be pole position. So, here we go. Maxwell into the bus stop chicane to finish off his time lap. His first one was scuffed because of going wide in Puhan. Better off this time, and he goes into 11th fastest, just ahead of Red Fire. And by the way, Fusion actually had that moniker, because Fusion had a 42.7 in his regard, and Maxwell now with a 42.5. I think what's kind of interesting is that currently with this 19 group field, 11 of these drivers in this field are part of the Mercedes Academy. Willow, Gecko, Cookie, Reese, Cryptic, Mintoki, Maxwell, Fusion, Andrea, Union, and SV. That is all our group that is all of our group in racing in for Tier 1. So, yeah, as you can see with our drivers here, lots of people in about. We don't have a second Aston. Jack is currently by himself for that. And we have 3 loans. Maxwell and Fusion on loan for V-Carb. They are in that V-Carb. And SV in for Sauber. Okay, so let's see. Let's take a look at some drivers that are currently on and about, getting another set of laps in right now. So currently, bottom 4 right now, it is held by SV, AJ, Jack, and Jacksta. AJ, by the way, just got moved into Tier 2 was in Tier 2 for last season in the Red Bull, is in the Haas for Tier 2. So a bit of an interesting change for him, but let's see how he will handle in a Tier 1 star in Haas here. Anyways, so Fusion coming out of the final corner as we speak. We have cars stopped. That is a Ferrari. That is Skither staying out of the way of everybody. And Fusion improves to a 42.3. He goes ahead of Maxwell, but will that be enough to get himself into Q2? Some other cars have called it quits as well. We have Cryptic, Beatnik, and Andrea have called it in the pits. They think they've done enough to get themselves. Whoa, nice save, Mintoki. Don't lose it. Don't lose it there, girl. Don't lose it there. That would suck if you get yourself wedged in the pit lane. I mean, get yourself wedged in the pit lane. That would probably look like a stuck bowel movement or something of the sorts. So, SV coming out to get his time lap all set and done. Maxwell, Mintoki, and Fusion and Skither are done. The checker flag is out and about. So, SV, whoa, Jesus Christ, SV. Off and about you go. That ends your run there, buddy. That's gotta suck. And probably had a snap of oversteer coming out of campus, but that screwed him over. That's gotta suck. So SV is out of Q1 on his part. And he's got AJ heading down behind him. Might want to move out of the way, because here comes someone. And I think he gave him a bit of a toe in that regard. And here comes AJ coming out of the final corner. He would love to get himself out of Q1 and then Q2. He goes P13. He has it for right now. Jack's the slowest. He is out. Now let's switch to Jack. Jack about a tenth and a half down in there. Whoa, slide in the bus stop. And the defending champion is out of Q1. He is done. And Union getting some help from Fusion. Getting some help from Fusion down on that last area through Blanchimont. Union out of the final corner to get himself out of the bottom 5. He does so. P13. Now that leaves Lennon. Can he get himself out of the bottom 5? He does so by 8,000ths of a second. By 8,000ths of a second, he nips Red Fire out of qualifying. Lennon makes it through by the sheer skin of his teeth. Very solid job. So, Red Fire, SV, Jack, and Jacksta are eliminated from Q1. Your top 3, Willow, Edvin, and Gecko. Skither just saying I was up by almost 2/10 before I touched grass. Oh man. And oh, you're kidding. Oh my goodness, this is wild. This is just wild. I'm just seeing it in the Discord chat. Jack is saying that this might be his last race on this game. Oh my god. That... Talk about a bombshell and a half. The defending champion to hang it up? Hang it up. My goodness. I mean, let's be reasonable. Jack has had some struggles this season, but I mean, to hear that from the defending champion, that's just... It's unheard of. I mean, let's see. He got 5th. He was 5th in... Yeah, he was 5th in Ferrari in Australia. On China... 5th again. Japan, he fell down to 12th because he moved from Ferrari to Haas. He didn't show up for Bahrain. Jeddah, he moved to Aston and was 10th. Imola was 12th. Spain, 8th. Austria, 15th. Regular Silverstone, last of the lead cars, and wasn't there for Silverstone reversed. So Jack did have a roller coaster type of season, if we have to be straight up honest about. But I mean, for him to just say this is my last race on all that, that's just wow. I just got no words. I mean, if it is truly your last race, Jack, I mean, it sucks that you won't be racing anymore. I mean, it does suck, but I mean, we just want you to know that you're still a hard racer and a hard fighter, and hopefully maybe F126 might be a lot better for you. Okay, so let's see. Looks like Willow is gonna be our first car for Q2 as we ride with him. Let's see what he's got for speed going up Eau Rouge and Radeon. And just about identical speed to what Reese had going up, but Willow did have a lot more easier speed heading down. 212 heading to the braking zone. Now through Les Combes. And now for Bruxelles. 175 before that braking zone there. Shifts up to 4th, 5th. Easy on the throttle. A little dipping of the grass. A little bit of the dipping of the grass and curb. Easy through there. Nice and easy stuff through there. Now, Puhan, we'll say with Puhan and Eau Rouge and Radeon, those will be your marks for potential track limit warnings and penalties here. Now, making through Paul Frere, get himself flying down the course. Gets up to about 200 just before Blanchimont. Heading into Blanchimont now. 204 going towards it. Now gets to just about 200 miles an hour into the braking zone of the bus stop chicane. I mean, literally, if you want a busted car, this is the car for you. And he sets a 42.0 for Willow. And I'm believing that's on used tires. Because Willow had a 41.5 in Q1. Cryptic came across with a 42.1. Skither 42.9. AJ 44.2. F1 Union 43.3. 43.0 for Maxwell. Next up is Gecko 42.6. Cookie 42.3 on his part. Let's see. Skidler's already across. We already covered him. He went across. Union 43. Yep. Alright, we got all them. Mintoki. Oh, Mintoki had an invalidation, I think. Let me check. Oh, nope, she didn't. Or maybe she did. No, never mind. I thought she did, but I was like, nope, never mind. Alright, well, next up, we got Fusion, about to finish off on his time lap. Beatnik, just coming through the bus stop chicane to get his time lap set, to get his time lap beginning. Andrea just coming out of the pits. Lennon, currently going into, campus. And Fusion, 7th fastest with a 43.3. for his troubles. So 6 drivers yet to get a lap in currently. We have Edvin, Mintoki, Beatnik, Reese. Oh, Edvin going around. Oh, into the wall. Oh, that had to hurt. Spun out, exiting campus, gets a little squirrely. Clocks the wall, only loses the end plates on the wings, and took out a brake marker for his trouble as well. But Edvin managing to reverse and keep on going, but that really had to throw a wrench in his plans. I mean, if it was a new set of tires he was on, well, those new tires, they're flat spotted. Mintoki trying again? Good, and she invalidated a 43.1, which would have put her between the V-carbs of Maxwell and Fusion. So she's gonna have to try again. I wonder where she invalidated, though. Drea's about to get his time lap on the road. And now, here we go. We have Beatnik coming out of the final corner to get his time lap up on the board. And it is the fastest right now. 41.7 for him. And Reese, just like Q1, Fusion playing the help game. And it helps Reese out. 42.6 for him. Well, one of the Williams cars up into 6th place. The other Williams is sitting in 10th right now. So, let's see who's up next. We have Lennon, just got into Q2 by knocking out Red Fire, and now heading into the bus stop chicane on board with him. Let's hear that screech as he locked up, as he had that little lockup coming out. But here comes Lennon across the line, and he's only a 43.7 for his troubles. Now let's go to Andrea, who actually I think must have made a mistake because he is off of the power and he's off of the power here. Actually, no, he's deploying. I wonder what strategy he's doing with the overtake and everything. He's got some kind of a strat. Well, let's see what we got as he gets into the bus stop chicane now. I thought he made a mistake and he backed up, but no, he went in the none for campus. But here we go, coming out of the last corner and across. 41.6. Red Bull 1-2 right now. Wow. So Andrea having a unique strategy for his lap. There we go. Having a little enjoying of a Barks root beer. Let's see what we got as some more cars are. We have a couple of cars out and about to get some new fresh laps in. Let's see. Let's switch to Cookie. Let's see. Here we go. Cookie up by over a 10.5 in Sector 1. Now heading into Bruxelles. A little slip slide in the entry, but keeps it in good composed shape. Now going through Puhan and roaring his way out, and off and away he runs. Into campus now, exiting and heading towards Stavilo, and almost a second up. You are kidding me. We are good. Is there a chance that we may see a 40s here? Wait, our fastest Q1 was a 41.5. Can we see a time dip into the 40s? Cookie's sitting at a 41.3 right now. Can he come across? Here he comes across, and we're into the 40s. 49.98 for Cookie. Let's get to Skither up into second place with a 41.1 for his troubles. Gecko third fastest with a 41.4 for his time run. Now let's see what Edvin's got. Edvin second in Q1. Here he comes for Q2. What can he do? Heading out of the final corner to get himself onto the board with a good time. Here he comes across the line, and it's only 7th. A 42.0 for his time. Well, I think Edvin is probably going to have to hope that he can get a good time in. He has the time in there. But I think that run that he did, that 42-0, is all that he can do for the time being. Because he won't be, when he gets back to the pits, he won't have enough time to come out and get another lap in. He will not have that. He will not have that luxury, unfortunately. So, Edvin's probably going to have to hope that he can stay in Q2. Well, only one driver left to get a time in. That is Mintoki. Let's see what the South Korean's got on her hands as she heads into the final corners now. Cryptic in P8 thinks he's done enough, but is it enough? Mintoki slips ahead of him. A 42-0 for Mintoki. Now Cryptic is at risk. Is pretty much at risk right now. And there's still 6 drivers behind yet to get some laps in. Fusion and Maxwell are on time laps right now. Fusion coming out of there to get to the Sector 2 split. 8 tenths up. So that is a 42.5 coming his way. That will put Fusion right now ahead of Reese. Let's see what we got as he heads towards the bus stop chicane. There's a Red Bull right there. That's either Andrea or Beatnik there. Out of final corner, here we go. Fusion rampaging across the line. It is only 10th. But can he keep it? Maxwell is invalidated and he's almost out of fuel. So Maxwell, unfortunately, is out of Q2. So that is our first Q2 eliminated. That being Maxwell. So Reese heading into campus right now. We have Fusion. Okay, Lennon's just about to get his time lapse started. He'll make it in time. But let's see with Reese. He's currently in 11th right now. 7 tenths up in Sector 2. That means right now, Reese is looking at a potential 41.9 on his mark. That'll put him just ahead of Edvin if he can make it work to sticking. Out of final corner, here comes Reese. And across the line he comes. He goes 7th fastest. And now Cryptic at risk of getting knocked out. Fusion is out. Union, can he deny Cryptic getting into Q3? Here comes Union. Across the line he comes. He switches with Maxwell, but he is out. So now that leaves AJ and Lennon. AJ coming out of the final corner right now. And across the line he will come. And it's only 12th fastest. Allen is out. That leaves Lennon now. So Lennon, 43.7 for him. He has to be a 42.1 in order to do so. 1.2 seconds up. That's a 42.5 on his mark. So he has to get pretty much 4.5 tenths in this last sector if he has a chance to get into Q3. Coming into the final corners now. And out of the final corner he comes, stamps it hard, and is only 12th fastest. So Cryptic, saved by the bell by 1/10.5. He is safely through to Q3. So we lose both V-Cars of Maxwell and Fusion, both Haas's of Lennon and AJ, and the Williams of F1 Union. Your top 10 going through to Q3. It is Cookie, Skither, Andrea, Willow, Gecko, Beatnik, Reese, Edvin, Mintoki, and Cryptic. I think Mintoki, not gonna lie, I think Mintoki is probably right now the highlight of Spa qualifying. All right, for Q3, here we go. We got 10 watching. Make your predictions. Who do you think is gonna be pole position? Who do you think is your top 3? Leave them down in the chat. Who do you think it'll be? Hmm. I'm gonna say for my top 3. And my top 3 is gonna be choosing an upset pole position. I think the top 3, well, second and third is gonna be between Cookie and Skither. But I think Beatnik will be stealing pole position. Yeah, I went there. Beatnik for pole. I know, crazy, isn't it? Sorry about that. Had a minor distraction. But let's take a look at Reese. Now remember, start of Q3, it's dry, but we're going to be having some rain showing up during this sec. So that's why everybody is out and about to get their laps in and make them stick and count before the rain shows up later. Reese heading up Eau Rouge and Radion. Overtake deployed, DRS active, flying down the Camel Straight. Gets to about 210 to the braking zone. Through Les Combs. And out. Up in the 6th gears to 7th. Into Bruxelles. Down to 3rd. Doesn't shift to 4th before exiting. Drop to 4th and up to 5th for No Name. In 8th gear, drops to 7th through Puhan. Back to 8th. Now to the campus chicane. Now to Stavilo. And out of there to Kerpol Frere. To Blanchimont now. There we go. Yeah, through there. And out and across to get his time lap. And it is a 41.8 for Reese. And here comes everybody filing in. 41.3 for Beatnik. 41.3 for Willow. Cookie 41.1. Cryptic 41.6. Gecko 41.5. The Ferraris. Skither 40.9. Edvin 41.4. Andrea 41.3. And Mintoki 42.1 for her. But let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this, by the way. Beatnik to Edvin. 4 cars. 0.07 of a second between that group. Wow. Well, everyone is heading back. Now the question is this it? Is this it? Or will people be able to get back to the pits and get another lap in? Be able to go to the pits, switch tires, and get another lap in just before the rain shows up? That is the big question. People are getting back into the pits and getting it all set to go. So, we'll have to wait and see what will happen. But as you can see on Mintoki's onboard, it's the clouds are out. Clouds are out and about. But we'll have to wait and see. Oh, Mintoki's going for another run! Mintoki's going for another run here, people! Let's see what happens here. Mintoki on her way down. Heading toward Rouge and Radion. Flying up. Deploying everything. DRS. Overtake. Gets to about 211 here. Heading into the first braking zone. 500's up. Not much, but it's something. Now coming into turn into the Bruxelles corner through No Name. Ooh, a little skimmy of the dirt that might hurt her. Dipping the grass again, goes wide out of Puhan. That ends her lap. She got a bit too greedy turning in. And that's gonna hurt her just a tiny bit. Let's see. So some cars are currently out and about getting some laps in. Here into the last. So Mintoki's going to be trying again. And we'll see what she'll have to do for another run. Hopefully she'll be able to switch up and get it figured out before the rain shows up in a bit. Stand by just one sec. Hey, here we go. Take 2 of everybody getting some laps in. And Mintoki has actually called it. She's content with her 10th. I also noticed a little bit ago, by the way, before stepping away, Andrea did retire as well. He is in the 4th place spot. Is that a wise thing to do, though? I'm not sure. Look at Beatnik's speed, by the way, almost 215 heading into Les Combs. Holy cow, that's fast. Oh, here we go. Well, lots of people are on their time lapse right now. We got, looks like Cookie is gonna be the lead man in this group. Right behind him is Reese. And I think Cookie is actually just content. He's actually helping Reese. Reese getting a help. Reese getting a helping hand from Cookie. And into the last corners there. This will be crucial. Here comes Reese out of the final corner with help from Cookie. Goes to 7th at this time. And Cookie is out. That's it for him. He's 2nd for the time being. Here comes Willow out of the final corner and improves, but stays in 3rd place. And Beatnik is out. He's done. Edvin, by the way, up by 4/10. Here he comes across the line. He nips Skither. He nips Skither for pole. He nips Skither for pole position. Edvin on top. Cryptic back into the pits. He has damage to the wing. Skither, save it. Oh, holy shit. Wow. Wow. This is not an illusion here, people. Edvin, in his 2nd start in Tier 1, is pole position. And better yet, Ferrari with a 1-2 in qualifying. God, it's been forever since we last saw that. A Ferrari 1-2 in qualifying. You know what? I need our encyclopedia. I need our walking encyclopedia, Ryan Searles, for this one. See if he can help me. See if he can help find out when the last time we had a Ferrari 1-2 in qualifying. Oh, never mind. I didn't have to look too far. Last season 12 in Vegas, earlier in the year. It was done by Skither and KVS. So 13 races. Ferrari getting a 1-2. Wow. So there it is. Pole for Edvin. And Skither second. So it's a Ferrari front row, a McLaren row 2, and a Red Bull row 3. And there's the rain, people. And Inter's out and about for all. Now, from what we were told by our weather report by Reese, it is going to rain for. It's going to be rain to start, but then it's going to dry out at the end of this. At the end of this. So. Oh, yes. And I should address a small elephant in the room. I forgot to mention it during qualifying. I am by myself on comms. SV is racing. Invade, unable to make it. So, I will do my best to get as much of the battles and the fighting as we can. And we will be in full swing and energy for this event. Ah. Here we go, the 5 lights for the Grand Prix of Spa. And it is lights out and off we go, slow and trundling goes the cars as they help into their ghosting involved, and Cookie with a dive on Edvin, and there he goes! Hippity hoppity, there goes Cookie! The championship leader goes for a spin! Christ almighty! Hippity hoppity, down he goes, and into the gravel trap to soak up some sun. And now we have a fight toward a little further back. We have Andrea battling with Gecko for the 6th place position, and Gecko stays ahead of Andrea, gets it in there, and Reese, by the way, up to 5th. We started in the 7th place spot. He's up to 5th right now in that Williams. Here comes Gecko. Slingshot high. No, that's Cryptic, I'm sorry. Cryptic with a slingshot hello on Andrea for the 7th place position. Further back, we saw some battles between there. And oh, there goes Cryptic. Cryptic has lost numerous spots. He is plunging behind. And he goes into a fight with Lennon for the 12th place position. He gets it in there. And ahead he goes, and some more cars getting caught off in regards to it. Redfire, Maxwell, and Jackson being involved in that little scuff as well. And oh, there goes Maxwell into a slip slide with Jackson there. And oh, there goes Jackson bumping off into the gravel. And there's Cookie in there as well. Wow, holy cow, what a mess and a half there. And now heading out of pole for Gecko gets ahead of Reese into the 5th place position. So we go on board with Reese. There's Gecko ahead of him, and the Ferraris have pulled away. Edmund 1.3 seconds ahead of Skither, but he has there, and there goes Cryptic in trouble again. Cryptic losing more spots. Union battling with AJ for 10th. What in the world's going on? We see many people going around. There's SV spun out in the front straight. And Cookie in regards to a recovery. Going up into 15th now. Let's go up to Willow, who's hunting. Chasing. Going on the outside against Skither here. trying to fake off into a switchback, but Skither keeps it scouted and is holding back Edvin. Is holding him back, so he'll allow Edvin to run away with this lead. So after that chaotic start there, it is Edvin, Skither, Willow, Beatnik, Gecko, Reese, Andrea, Fusion, Mintoki, and AJ, and the backfield is still fighting here. Switch back to that. Red Fire had a mistake and a half. Going out of No Name, I think. So, because he's lost spots to Jaxa and Lennon there. So he falls to there. Let's go to Jack, who is chasing Union for the 11th place position. And here is... And he has Cookie on his tail as well. And here we go. On board with Jack. There is the car. There's F1 Union ahead of him. AJ ahead of him. And Mintoki ahead of AJ. And Cookie sending it in on the inside. Now the outside against Jack. And Cookie just working that magic. And he's up in the 12th now. And by the way, that gap as Cookie gets past Union up into 11th. SB into the pits. So, at this present time, just want to note this. Edvin is 1.7 seconds ahead of Skither right now for that position. Cryptic, the first driver into the penalty box with that there in 14th right now. AJ, by the way, all over the back of Mintoki to try to go for the 9th place spot. But yoo-hoo, hello, hi, here comes Cookie, right behind him in the 11th place spot. Cookie on a recovery in this sense. He's going in the inside in Bruxelles. You don't see that every day. You see that in F2, but not in F1. And Cookie trying. He's fighting it with AJ here. So they had the poo on. AJ could not fend it off enough. Cookie is up back into the points. Alright, let's go a little further as Mintoki moved out of the way for Cookie and is up in the 9th. He goes for that sense. Let's go a little back further. Let's go up further into the front of the field. We have Gecko chasing Beatnik for the 4th place spot. Reese right behind him in 6th, and right behind him is Andrea. And Cookie, by the way, 6.4 seconds behind Andrea at this present time. This little 4-car train for the 4th place position is starting to heat up. By the way, on the graphics here, Union gets passed by Jack for the 12th place position, and looks like Red Fire passing Jaxa for the 16th position. Cryptic getting past Union into turn 1 for the 13th place position. Now looks like Gecko had a much better exit out of Radion and is chasing on the inside against Beatnik, putting the pressure on him, and into the braking zone we go, and Gecko stamps it and sends it. He is up in the 4th. Let's go a little further back to AJ. By the way, AJ trying to chase Mintoki down. Jack and Cryptic locked wheels just for a brief moment, just catching it on the screen. And Jack has fallen. Jack is still in the 12th place spot. Here comes, wow, hi Maxwell. Nice dot, does a Cookie-like dive against Union and gets himself in a 14th. Now SV into the penalty box. Addo, Rouge, and Radion. Oh, that's Union going a little travel into the grass. And he loses 15th to Red Fire for that. Let's see how Willow is currently doing. He's 7 tenths behind Skither, and trying to keep on tabs with him. Meanwhile, Edvin is starting to run away again. 2.7 seconds clear of Skither at this time. Meanwhile, looks like Reese was thinking of eyeballing a move against Beatnik. I think he tricked Beatnik. He did trick him. And gets a corner cut penalty for his trouble. And Andrea muscles his way past Reese, exiting out of the bus stop, and goes in on the outside. Oh, contact between the two Red Bulls. And Reese decides wants to take back over, go for it. And Reese losing out on a position to Andrea, and Beatnik gets passed by him for that, and he also got a corner cut penalty for his trouble. I think Beatnik got a little too careless going in the braking zone and went wide, and that's why he lost the spot. Now, I don't know if that's going to get removed, because, I mean, he did lead the track. But I don't think he gained too much an advantage, because he did lose a position. Not to Reese, though. He lasted to Andrea. But we'll have to wait and see in regards to that. Let's go a little further back, by the way. Jack was chasing Cryptic down for the 12th place spot. A little on his back end camera. We have Red Fire eyeballing a look on Maxwell for the 14th place position, but no dice there. So we got some battles towards the front. We got battles at the back half of the top 10. We got battles. We got a battle at the tail end of the points in 10th. But yeah, this is quite a race to think about, eh? Oh, by the way, Cookie eyeballing Reese. By the way, he's coming, and he's coming fast. And there is Beatnik just ahead of him. Let's see how this Breaky So fares Beatnik this time. And fares better this time as the Ferraris trade off on their fastest lap. Skither has it with a 56.0. Edvin initially had it with a 53.3. Now, let's see what happens here. Coming out of La Source. Any fights there? We got a 6-car train between Mintoki down to Red Fire. And Red Fire getting battled by Maxwell, who went on the outside to go for the shot. And he gets it done. Up in the 14th he goes. Meanwhile, Reese fighting with Beatnik. Beatnik covers the inside and trying to goad Reese to take the long way around. But Beatnik does make the defense stay. And he is remaining in the 6th place spot. Reese in 7th. Cookie right on his tail in 8th. Keep an eye on this little fight here. I wonder if, Reese actually moves out of the way. Lets Cookie through. So Cookie now in pursuit of Beatnik. Let's go on board with Cookie. As he chases Beatnik for the 6th place position. Heading into campus. Now to Stavilo. And easing on through here. And now, whoa, don't lose it. That was very scary. Almost a snap. Trying to keep the car tamed is what Cookie has been doing. And now heading towards Blanchimont to head into the bus stop. Cookie forcing the pressure on the inside, and he does so, and he gets it done. Cookie is up in the 6th. 3 seconds now to chase Andrea. So Cookie up in the 6th after being last after turn 1, lap 1. And he is recovering to the 6th place spot in the rampaging car. Red Fire decided to try a an attack on Jack. Going to a slide. I didn't see contact from the angle, but he kept it okay. And Jack still maintains that 13th place position. And he's going to try again on the outside now. fighting with Jack. Jack with the overtake. No, actually, no. I think Jack's got better wings than Red Fire does. Into the braking zone. Ooh. That was close. That was a close scrap between them. But Red Fire ahead of Jack in the 13th. Toki still has that train chasing her for the 10th place spot. She's got AJ, Cryptic, Red Fire, and Andrea is in the penalty box. And Union too. But that's big with Andrea into the penalty club. That is critical. Now both Red Bulls have a 3-second penalty on their hands. Let's take a gander at Cryptic as he is on chasing. Whoa! That was very hair raising. But he was chasing AJ down, but had that little got loose and squirrely going into Blanchimont, and now Union is heading into the pits. I wonder why. Did he make a mistake or, like, messed up something? He's replacing the wing. No, he's going to the hards! Union taking a chance! Union's taking a chance with the dry tires! The Union being the guinea pig! This is interesting. Oh, Skither had a little evil exit out of Puhan. But will Willow take full advantage of it? And by the way, Skither, I think Skither, he needs to save from some fuel. He's got yellow on his. Cookie, by the way, all over the back of Andrea. Let's switch to them, as Andrea had a little dip in the gravel on his part. Here we go. Cookie and Andrea. Cookie going the long way around with Andrea here, and he makes it easy, and up in the 5th goes Cookie. And Skither is in. Skither is in. Is it enough for 40? Is it enough here? And Skither, Andrea, Beatnik, they are in. So, possible double stack here for the Red Bulls. And it looks like Beatnik was not affected too much. But onto the hards. So this is interesting. So maybe the track has decided it's dry enough for the dry. Is it? I think they think it's good enough. And we got trouble. That's SV and Puhan. We'll have to wait and see here what's gonna happen here. Let's take a look at the let's take a look at the back end. Here's Union chasing Maxwell and Jack right now. AJ on the inside against Cryptic goes up into 12th. Maxwell getting past Jack to take 14th. And here we go. So is it actually I think the track might actually be okay to go with these 40 in to get out the inters and onto the hards. And switching to this, they can last the rest of the way. Beatnik into the penalty box now. Now it's in Puhan. So I think everybody is gonna, whoever's left on the inters, they're gonna come in. Yes, they are. Edvin, Willow, Cookie, Gecko, Reese, Fusion and Red Fire. They are what's left, and we'll be going into the pits to get off of those inters, which means I think Skither is going to inherit the lead here. And let's see, coming out of the pits, and yes, Skither will be ahead of Edvin. So we have a new leader now. Skither is your new leader. And Red Fire has decided to go to the mediums. Interesting choice. Now everyone's cycling out of the pits right now. So, Skither and Edvin are the top two right now. So Skither, it was in second behind Edvin, and now has the lead of this race. Willow is in third, Gecko 4, Andrea 5th, Cookie 6, Reese 7, Beatnik in 8th, Fusion 9, and Mintoki is still in the 10th place position. Alright, so let's go on to on board with Beatnik as he's chasing Reese for the 7th place position there. Oh, we just lost Willow! We just lost Willow! Willow got booted out of the session! Willow, the driver in third, has been disconnected! Oh, this is gonna change the complexity of this event. There's Willow, he's back. Not a moment too soon, because I believe Gecko is going to be going for the attack to get into third place. DRS is enabled courtesy of that, and Gecko is in third place at the Willow disconnected. Get off of the tires now. Let's take a look here. And SV in trouble again. Here are your biggest gainers and losers at this moment. Gecko is your biggest gainer right now with 5 positions gained from that. And our biggest loser right now is Lennon, losing 6. And Willow is back in. But yeah, that disconnect costed him that position. And Red Fire, by the way, passing AJ for the 11th place spot. Did not catch that fight, unfortunately. We do apologize for missing that. But Red Fire in 11th now. And on fresh mediums, which means he has the chance to turn it loose. And he is going to be quicker on those tires. Now, he is 2 seconds behind Mintoki to get himself into the points. I mean, what would that be for Red Fire to come back from a 4-race ban and getting that pep talk to be better and cleaner in regards to racing, and he gets himself a point, at least he gets himself a point or so. SV is spinning because the setup he's using is not suitable for a Sauber. Sauber requires a lot of rear grip, says Maddie. Thank you very much for that info there. As SV on the track map is in trouble again was essentially the now in Bruxelles, and he's got damage to that car. He's got heavy damage to that car, actually. So SV not happy at all with it. Beatnik, by the way, just cleared Reese to get himself into the 7th place spot ahead of Reese there. But bear in mind, Beatnik's got 6 seconds of penalties on his board for it. So the race ended right now, Beatnik would drop to 9th. It looks like Edvin is catching as catching up to Skither right now, and he is in, and he, like I said, Edvin is looking at his second race start in RPL, and is looking for his first. He could be looking at his first potential win. The last time we've only had 2 other times. Oh, he's in the penalty box. Never mind. So I was just about to say, the last time we had a Ferrari Academy driver, start in RPL, and then get a win in his second ever start, that was Jacob Adamczak way back in Season 7. Season 7. But unfortunately, now that's gone and out the window, because Edvin is in the penalty box. But Skither lets him through anyways. And into the lead, back goes Edvin. So Edvin in the lead right now. Skither held the lead for about 3-ish laps. But now, I think Skither is probably going to be like, I need to save some fuel now. Because he still has a yellow for his fuel. Meanwhile, Cookie hunting Andrea down for the 5th place spot. Now, Andrea does have that track limit penalty on his marks. So that's going to hurt him just a tiny bit. So, in regards to track limit penalties, Edvin, Andrea, Beatnik, Cryptic, Union, and SV have track limit penalties. SV has 2 of them to his name, and Beatnik has a 3-second corner cut for going pretty dang wide in bus stop, and actually was forced to cut it, and that's why he has that penalty there. So you can see it on the screen there. Oh, Cookie still all over the back of Andrea to rally in for the 5th place spot. He has the DRS, but doesn't have the capability down this miniature straight to make anything of that. You'll have to wait to the Camel straight to make that move happen. Meanwhile, by the way, Willow is chasing Gecko to get back into 3rd place. Looks like the Ferraris will switch again. That being Skither and Edvin. I think the 2 are just working together to make it happen. In the background, there's Cookie down the inside against Andrea, and he gets himself into 5th place now. So now, Cookie, 2 seconds behind his teammate, Willow. Further back, Reese getting in close proximity to Beatnik at this present time, but nothing coming out from that. Meanwhile, SV, by the way, has gone a lap down. As you can see here on the map, he's right behind AJ. So SV has been lapped. Well, pretty much just about a typical run-of-the-mill race here at Belgium. By the way, I am by myself, so probably once this race is over, we'll get the podium out, but we'll probably be skipping the spraying of the champagne because I don't want to get stuck in a black screen like we've had in past races. Cookie with the fastest lap of the race, by the way. With a 44.2. Unfortunately, fast lap doesn't equate to any points. So there is that. So the Ferraris are going to be switching again from the looks of it. As you can see there in the background there, Edvin back into the lead. Willow passing Gecko to get himself back into 3rd. So Willow and Gecko back in the spots that they were before the disconnect wound up messing up with Willow in that sense. Further back, Reese not close enough to Beatnik to go for any attacks. We may see an attack here
Red Fire defending against AJ to keep him back in the 11th place spot. And Red Fire maintains that for the time being. Now, Red Fire, by the way, 1.1 seconds. Whoa, lock up into the corner there. And we have an incident. That is Jacksta. And there goes Union off into the wall. Union was battling with Jack for the 15th place spot. We saw on the track map there was a yellow flag at the last corner over there. Oh, into the wall. Hardy goes. And, oh, Jesus. And we have a VSC because of that. We have a VSC from Union clocking the wall in no name and going off into the wall again. So, a VSC has been deployed. We'll have to keep an eye and see how that's gonna pan out. Because once that VSC ends, if your Delta's in the red, you get a drive-through. And a drive-through is not what any of these guys will want. Red Fire is off into the pits. Trying to get off of those mediums. Alright, so while we're in this slowdown at the moment, top 10 right now, it is Edvin, Skither, Willow, Gecko, Cookie, Andrea, Beatnik, Reese, Fusion, and Mintoki. That's your top 10 as we're back underway here in Spa. And Edvin still has the lead right now, but with that 3-second penalty when it gets applied, he currently right now will be dropping to, right now it's looking like he'll drop down to second as Willow is at the fringe of being over 3 seconds behind. Let's go to the leader gap here. 2.8 seconds right now is the gap between Edvin and Willow. And we got trouble again. That is in no name. That is Maxwell who has spun out. Now, he lost quite a lot of time because he was right behind Cryptic at the end of the VSC. So he lost quite a bit of time in regards to that. And now, this is interesting. 3 McLaren Academy Mercedes Academy drivers. Wow, nostalgia. But Willow ahead of Gecko, and he's got Cookie, the championship leader, up his tail. There goes the 2 Ferraris up Rouge and Radion. They will switch again. They're gonna switch it again. Here comes Cookie on the outside, gets past Gecko to get in the 4th. Now will he make a move on Willow? No, he does not. And Skither, by the way, did switch with Edvin to take the lead back. So we'll probably see them switch again late in a little bit. Let's switch down to Cryptic on the inside, battling with AJ for the 11th place spot. Now with Red Fire out of the way, that gives Mintoki some breathing room, and Cryptic is into the 11th place spot. But with that track limit penalty though, he will lose that position anyways to AJ. But I think with Cryptic fighting with AJ here, this gives Mintoki the breathing room she needs to pull away and maintain that position. Because right now she is currently looking at getting herself a single point in Tier 1. Let's go on board with Willow. As you can see in the distance, Edvin and Skither ahead there. Heading into the braking zone. And a small bit of a lock up there. Excuse me. Carry on. Willow chasing down Skither and Edvin right now. 2 seconds between Edvin and Willow right now. And there's Cookie right behind him. As the fight, as they head up Rouge and Radion. I think the McLarens are going to be switching here. And here we go. There it is. It's McLaren switch. Cookie in the third. And now turned loose to chase down the front pair. With 5 to go. Let's switch back here. A little contact between Redfire and Jack. Redfire went down the inside against Jack. Just noting that in the turn 1. Didn't see the full battle there. But Jack now chasing and en route as Redfire, by the way, is on fresh new mediums. And he is chasing Maxwell down for the 13th position. Lennon, by the way, just passed Jacksta for the 16th place position. Ooh. Maxwell and Redfire getting a little antsy. Be careful there. And a little oversteer by Maxwell. Oh boy! Oh Jesus! Oh, Maxwell just got, his car got evil exiting out of no name, and it collected Jack as a result. That really had to hurt. That had to hurt, not gonna lie. Because we did see when we were on board with Jack, Redfire and Maxwell were battling it out, and Cookie had a weird exit out of the source. Anyways, but yeah, when we were on board with Jack, we saw Redfire and Maxwell battling in Bruxelles. Then Redfire on the inside going into no name. There was no contact between the two from what we saw while on board with Jack. And then Maxwell just lost the rear, exiting out of no name, and Jack, nowhere to go, gets involved in that accident. While we were talking about that, the McLarens did switch, and they're back, and Willow is back in the third place position, is back in third. And by the way, because of that, Edvin, with that penalty right now, is going to be knocked off of the podium right now. Because the gap between Edvin and Willow, 1.5 seconds. Gap between Edvin and Cookie, 2.3. But Skiller does have the lead still, which means at this time, Skiller is looking to make a Ferrari Academy victory for the weekend. As we did say, Resilience won in Tier 3, Lennon got it in Tier 2, and Skiller looking to stamp that point to make it 3 for 3 for this weekend for Ferrari. We'll have to keep an eye on that top 3 there, by the way, as Jacksta, or is that SV again? No, it's SV again. having problems. Okay, and that's Union off in no name. But we are past the point that we will not be getting a safety car should a crash occur. But here we go. Let's go down to Cryptic, who is in DRS of Mintoki. But bear in mind, Cryptic has that penalty though. But I think he's more worried about building a gap to AJ right now, who is sitting in the 12th place spot, 2.3 seconds behind him. And a little further back, by the way, Jacksta chasing Lennon down for the 14th place position. And by the way, the top 4, they're all in DRS of each other. Willow within 1 second. Willow within 1 second of Edvin. Cookie within 1 second of Willow. This is gonna get good. 2 to go when they come out of the bus stop. Let's see what we got as they head down. As Edvin now, we're on board with Edvin as he is being chased. There is the two McLarens eyeing him up like a shark, sharks smelling blood. And Union, by the way, behind the McLarens. He is now officially a lap down. And here we go. And the McLarens switch over. Cookie turned loose. Cookie ahead of Willow right now. Now Willow is going to be looking at a podium either way, as he is within that 3 seconds of Edvin right now. And by the way, let's take a note of this. Gecko, 3.5 seconds behind Edvin right now. So Gecko does have a possible opportunity. Never mind, he's got a penalty now. I really need to shut my mouth. Whenever I say something about a driver, that this driver could go for this, and sure enough, boom, penalty. I really need to shut my mouth. Here comes Cookie, but speaking of not shutting mouths, a mouth that's not being shut up is Cookie. All over the back of Edvin. Is he gonna go for a shot? He's going for it! Down the inside! Trying for it. The switchback. Can't seem to get it done. Final lap in hand. Cookie is all over the back of Edvin right now. Going for the second place spot. He would love to get second on track to get it past Edvin here. Here we go. Final lap. Sponsored by Barks Root Beer. On board with Cookie, chasing and preying on Edvin right now. Edvin turning on everything, and he's doing it to stay ahead of Cookie. Cookie in the belly box! You gotta be kidding me! What in the world? No, Cookie! Jesus Christ, Cookie desperate, and it costed him. Christ Almighty, dude! Talk about desperation and a half! That was costly! Oh, Cookie got the penalty! Dragler penalty going into Les Gauls. He just was like, fuck it! Going into Brooks' house and then bit his ass hard. Oh my god. What in the world? Talk about pure entertainment at its finest! Yeah, I'm thinking it. I'm wondering if that's a possibility too, Matty, but still. Good God Almighty. Here we go. Into Blanchimont to come into the bus stop chicane for the final time. They won in Tier 3. They won in Tier 2. It is 3 for 3 for Ferrari. Skither will win in Spa. Willow will take second over Edvin. And Edvin will get his first podium in third. Gecko will be 4. Cookie 5th. Andrea coming across for 6. Beatnik 7. And then we have, here we go. As you can see, Reese coming across the line. Gets the 8th place spot. Clocks the lap car of SV. Fun stuff there. And more cars coming across. Fusion in 9th. Cryptic will come across in 10th on track. But Mintoki will get the points. The single point in 10th. And AJ will be 11th over Cryptic. Redfire in 13th in his return back. Let's go to Jackson and Lennon, by the way. They thought we were going to see a last lap fight between them, but it is that in that sense. But congrats to Skither getting a win, and Willow getting another P2, and Edvin, his first podium in Tier 1. It was set his 3rd place, but you gotta give him credit for that. And Maxwell and Jack waiting on those two, having some fun. Wow. Ferrari, 3 for 3 for the weekend. They won a race in all 3 tiers. Solid stuff there. So as I said, we'll see the podium celebration here. There's Skither getting the crowd amped up. There's Willow and Edvin with the win. The trophy in hand. But the champagne, we're going to see like the first, maybe like second or two of it. I don't freaking know. But there it is there. Champagne sprayed. Let's skip this so we can get it here. So here it is. So driver of the day gets given by Red Fire for the game. Most overtakes Cookie. Cleanest driver Jacksta. Union fastest lap. Skither the race winner. And here is the results here. Skither is your winner with Willow in second, Edvin third, Gecko 4, Cookies 5, Andrea 6, Reese 7, Beanick 8, Lero 9, and 10th for Mintoki. And then the rest, it is AJ, Cryptic, Redfire, Lennon, Jacksta, Jack, Maxwell, and our 2 lap cars of Union and SV. No retirements in this race. Cool. I love that. So, that is going to conclude the stream for tonight. But what great racing. What great racing right towards the end there. So, let's take a peek at what we got. So, Tier 3, Tier 3, they will be at Suzuka for round 2 of their championship. Same goes with Tier 2. They will be at Suzuka as well. And for Tier 1, we will be at the Hungaroring for... We're going to be at the Hungaroring for round 12 of the season. Now, who do I think is driver of the day? Well, contenders, we have Edvin getting his first Tier 1 podium, despite that track limit penalty. And honestly, I think I'm going to give the driver of the day nod to him for that. Cookie was last at the turn 1, lap 1, recovered, but then made a fool of himself and got that. Reese is another contender. He got a few points for Williams. Solid stuff on his part. And then Mintoki getting a single point for Alpine. I believe it is in her first Tier 1 start. So very good stuff for her. Bit of a solid sleeper there. But overall, driver today, I'm going to have to give it to Edvin in that sense. But I think we also will have to give it to Ferrari because of their dominant victories, getting their wins in all 3 tiers. Well, from RPL Streamstein, I'm Wolf signing off. We say goodbye, and we'll see you next week.